right, well, we've got the very exciting top 10 interior offensive linemen to get to. No guests today. Honestly, it's not an exciting position, so I don't think anyone's knocking down the door.
I enjoyed reading up on some of these players and watching some highlights.
I don't want to ruin the mood, but since there wasn't very much stats to look at, I had to really do some deep digging, so I didn't have time to get some highlights down. So
don't worry, Tim. I got 2 videos for you.
Oh God, look at you. learning. About time I've gotten something out of you here. But it's time to show the big boys love. I like the list. It made me interesting. I will say, makes me upset because I think all right, full disclaimer, we'll say Brooks is obviously not on the list because he's not
correct.
Playing. I think I would have put him at 2. If I was allowed to put him in there, I think I would have put him at 2.
Based on who I have at 1 and 2, I might have him at 3. But he's definitely like top 3. And you can switch that around.
I think our 1 and 2 are the same. And
possible.
I think that Brooks has been.
I mean, I think he was better. PFF's best.
He was,
guard last year. So
I actually have it. He was the number 1 PFF guard, and he was the 5th in pass protection.
I'll just say that
number 1. He was the best run blocking offensive guard. Number 5 best pass blocking guard. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I'll put him as a definite 3rd in this list just because.
Oh yeah, he's
slight. Actually, not really slight, but there are injury concerns. I mean, back-to-back years now. So
yeah, no, I honestly,
but that's
the reason I would
he's
put
still
him
amazing.
I mean, the reason my top 2, they don't miss games, but I still think that Brooks is better, higher ceiling player than who I added to. The number 1 is just a younger guy, and I think we're on the same one here, but he's got a higher ceiling, I think. But I would have put Brooks, I think, 2, 3 at worst. But yeah, that was a bummer. Talk about a horrible offseason. Yeah, Brooks go down, Deshaun Jackson thing, and now Barnett, Hargrave, and Miles Sanders are all out for a couple weeks.
And Goodwin is not going to play.
Oh, yeah, Goodwin didn't. Yeah, I forgot about that one. And Dougie P got corona. It's just like –
and Lane.
Oh, yeah. I honestly can't keep
list goes on.
Bad news. Yeah, we've had a lot of bad news for an offseason that wasn't actually an offseason. Every team was supposed to cancel their offseason. Somehow the Eagles had a horrific one.
Yeah, well, what goes around comes around, I guess. But I will say it will be interesting to see how it unfolds with, like, I heard, like, hockey hasn't had a case in weeks and the NBA hasn't had a case in weeks. So, obviously, there's a lot more players involved with.
Yeah, we'll see. That could be another video. We'll get to that. But I think the NFL is going to be stubborn and do it their way and probably take a similar baseball approach. And anyone tests positive, fuck it. We'll just power through.
Well, the Mets just got a whole bunch of positive cases, it looks like.
Another outbreak. Oh, good.
So this is our interior lineman. So
this is episode number.
I don't even know anymore.
I've lost count. 11, maybe.
Well, it depends. Are we counting the other? Like we had our top 100 and our NBA one.
No. Positional.
So positional. This might be episode 10 for position.
Big stuff. Hit the double digits, baby. All right. Well, we'll start. Age before beauty. So you can go first.
Well, before that, what are we sipping on? Gotta let the viewers know.
I always go with the cheapest and delicious Narragansett.
Cheapest and delicious.
They're fantastic. $6 for a 6-pack of Tall Boys, 5%. Great.
What is it called?
Narragansett. I'm a big fan. You know what? They don't even have to pay me. I would sponsor them just for fun. They're great stuff. They're my go-to.
So I went to the brewery, or not the brewery, the beer distributor the other day, and they have all their fall beer in already.
Interesting.
So I went and looked. I was like, oh, I'll just get 1 bottle of each, make my own 6-pack. So I did today we're testing out the Southern Tier Pumpkin.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, do you like the pump? Did you have the what the fuck is it called? What's the one big pumpkin beer?
I know you're talking. I can't remember.
Shipyard. What's it?
Shipyard. Yeah. I forget.
You ever have that one? Yeah, the Pumpkin or something along those lines.
Yeah, I've had that. One's good too.
That one is good. That's the only pumpkin beer I've had. I'm not huge.
Yeah, so they're hit and miss. Some of them are more like wheat tasting. This one's got like it's an ale, but it's got like that kind of slight bitterness of an IPA, which is like okay, but it's nice. It's good. It's got good like the flavor, which is like I actually like pumpkin flavor. I'm not one of those like basic people.
Oh, stop. When I look at you, you are the most basic person I've ever seen.
But it smells good. So,
all right. Well, here, let me see.
I'm losing daylight. So what do you got for number 10 there on
Well, you can go there. You can go first there,
I can go first.
Tarzan, or the Wild Living. Go ahead.
So, yeah, this is a guy I saw on a couple lists, maybe a little, outside the top 10, but just kind of looked at the body of work last year. I got Roger Saffold, number 10 of the Titans. Yeah.
I'm not, you know what? I'll say I don't have my top 10. Thought about it. I liked them because I liked him on the Rams too. When McVay was running his nonsense with all the, when the offense is humming and they were able to, they would do the reverses, the screens, the counter, the play action. Todd Gurley was balling. He was very good. If we did it then, he would be easily on this top 10 list. But he hasn't skipped a beat. He went from one, offensive player of the year and Todd Gurley to, I think, Derrick Henry won offensive player of the year. Or
yeah, I mean, you basically just took all my talking points, but
that's what I do, baby. That's what I do.
Yeah, no, I agreed though, because I mean, you look at how the Rams played last year, and like their offense was not nearly as explosive, and you look at the Titans, and you look at the line. There's you have 2 tackles, 2 guards, and a center, and then tight ends on the outside. So it's a team effort. But I mean, he made Todd Gurley look incredible. He made Derrick Henry, the rushing king. He got him. What's his name? I wrote it down real quick. Him, Taylor Lewan, and Ben Jones, their center. That's a really good tandem there on the line. They easily have one of the better lines in the league, and they helped Tannehill get a Pro Bowl, helped Derrick Henry get the rushing title. So,
no, I would agree. I like Saffold. I didn't go any Titans, but Ben Jones was another one I was considering. I think he was number 2, if I'm correct, on PFF as a center overall.
He might. I didn't look at. I don't have all the PFFs in front of me, but
yeah. So, but no, I like that pick. Not bad. You usually start us off with more nonsense than you're doing today, so I can live with that. My number 10, and I tell you, I switched this one 5 seconds before I actually entered this group chat. I was gonna go with Kevin Zeitler. Solid, player. He's been on some bad teams recently, but he's still pretty solid. But I went with someone a little bit younger. Graded out a little better in PFF in particular. He was actually, 15th overall last year, 10 the year before that, 6th the year before that, and 10 before that. I'm going to go with Ali Marpet, guy from the Tampa Bay Bucks.
Okay. I saw him on some lists. I thought about him, but he didn't.
Yeah, I did not. I wasn't going to do it. I had Zeitler in there. It literally seconds before we got into this, I changed it. And one of the things I was thinking of was that I know when we did the quarterbacks, I briefly mentioned, since Arians has been an offense coordinator or head coach, his team has been top 5 in sacks taken every year, except for I think it was 3 since 07. Okay. And last year, James took 47 sacks, and that was number 4 in the NFL, which is a ridiculous amount. Yeah. Marpet, I do think that Jameis is just like, he's just not comfortable, has no feel. The amount of interceptions the guy takes and the amount of sacks, like he just doesn't have the feel for the game. He's athletic, he's a specimen, big arm, but he doesn't have a feel for the game. So I can't kill Marpet on that as much. He graded really high. Young guy, I think he's going to play well in the with Brady behind him, someone that saves offensive lines. Like Brady gets the ball up before he's going to hit. Yeah. Arian, I don't know how the Arians and Brady mixture will work. I'm not in love with it, mostly because I think Arians just quarterbacks out to die because he just holds out deep ball after deep ball after deep ball and just expects his quarterback to either throw it downfield or get lit up.
Yeah.
But young, he's 27. He's been consistent the last couple of years. He's under the radar. I'm not going to lie and say that I actually knew who he was before we did this research. But, going off of my factors, the future in 2020 is very big, and I think he's going to have a great 2020 with a quarterback to get the ball in his hands and not turn it over. And I think he's young enough that he's still someone I can build around. And if Brady's got a couple more years in him, I think that'll help him.
Yeah, I think the Bucs have a couple sleeper players on the line.
Yeah, I mean, they adjusted. I mean, Jansen's pretty good too. Marpet. Yeah. They just drafted, what's his face, Willis at left tackle. So they'll be fine. I mean, listen, Brady's not coming to a shitty offensive line. He's going to make sure that they're pretty decent and vetted.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think they're. I don't know. I don't know how to evaluate the Bucs right now. I think they have a lot of good pieces. We'll see if that all comes together.
Yeah,
I mean, we talked about how good their linebackers are, and they've secondary and D line's decent. Their offensive line's pretty good. They need some running back help, but we'll see.
It comes down to Brady. That's what it really comes down to. And I think there's a lot of talent around him on that offense. I think they'll be okay. So, what do you got at number 9?
Yeah. All right. So moving on to number 9, I have another guy. I've definitely heard of him, but it's not like a name I think of right away. Guy out of Cleveland, Mr. Joel Bitonio, if that's how you pronounce his last name.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, graded out 74.2 on PFF. 2-time Pro Bowler, 3 sacks allowed, did have 3 penalties, so it's not best numbers you want for a guard, but it's over 1,000 snaps. But I think he's shown that he's continues to get better, and
he's been solid.
Like consider you look at that Browns line, and they give up so many sacks, and Mayfield's always run for his life, and Chubb still had great year even with that. But he's quietly keeping that line together and helps pave the way for Chubb. So I think he's a really underrated player.
No arguments there. You will actually see him on my list, so I will. I'll leave it as is. But my number 9, I kept with the youth movement. Another younger guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's 27, just like my Marpet. First round pick, my first center to pop up on the list. I'm going to go with Ryan Kelly.
Interesting. He comes up fairly soon on my list as well. So
yeah, honestly, you know what? Because Batoni's going to come up pretty soon too, so you'll see him. But last year he was 8th for centers in PFF. The year before that he was 10th. 2 top 10 finishes. Going forward, he's young. He's playing next to Quentin Nelson. That's going to help.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm very confident in him going forward because he has a superstar next to him.
Yeah.
I do think he's good. Don't get me wrong. I think the Colts overall have a really good offensive line. I think Brandon Smith on the right tackle was really nice. I think Costanzo coming back was huge for them. Kelly's good, and Nelson's obviously, we'll both get to that later. But they have very inconsistent quarterback play. Brissett wasn't the answer. I don't think Phillip Rivers is the answer. I think this is going to be a lost year for them. I think that Phillip Rivers, when the year Eli Manning got benched by Geno Smith, I think that's what we're going to see from Phillip Rivers. I think that this is going to be Eli's year for Phillip Rivers. Last year, I watched a little bit of the Chargers. He looked awful. He looked like the problem on that team. I know the Chargers didn't have a great year, but he looked like he was the problem on offense. I don't think he's got anything left. He's going to have the best offensive lineman, arguably to protect him. I don't know if it's going to matter. But I put Kelly there. Like I say, I'm not huge on the Colts, but I do like him. He plays next to a superstar. He's been solid since he's gotten to the league. But yeah, that's what I got there.
All right, fair enough. Because that's a nice little segue. My number 8 was Ryan Kelly.
Look at that.
Yeah, he, him and another guy on that Colts line are really good, still young guys, and Kelly's got more of power for a center than I feel like you typically see, and he bullies people.
Yeah.
He only allowed 1 sack out of 1,000 snaps, and I feel like it's hard to evaluate interior lineman sacks because it's
definitely
pressure's not always there. It's more run stoppers in that area, but he's just been, like you said, he's helped. They've had no-name running backs do really well with the Colts, and they've developed into solid players now.
He was the number 4 center in run blocking last year.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think that's 8-9 is a good area for him.
Yeah, he wasn't on my list initially. My top 8, I pretty much stuck through the whole thing, but my 9 and 10 were up in the air. His future, obviously, I put some future into this. Playing next to Nelson, the double teams that him and Nelson are going to create on in running situations.
Oh yeah,
it's pretty devastating. So I think that he's going to continue and have a very nice career doing that. I think he's in a great situation. I don't have any faith in their quarterback play, but I like their coach. I like their line around him. But I think he's a good player. Basically, it basically comes down to if they drafted him 3 years earlier than they did, Andrew Luck might not retire. But they chose to ignore the offensive line for all those years, and then late, because I think Kelly was drafted. He was drafted in the first round not that long ago. I think
he was drafted 18th overall in 2016 NFL draft.
Yeah, if they
out of Bama.
Yeah, if they decided to put a little more emphasis into their offensive line before Luck got hurt all the time, then maybe he'd still be playing. But another time, another day. But So next up at number 8, funny that you had Kelly at 8 because I have Bitonio at 8.
Oh, a little flip the switch going on there.
Yeah, I do like it. Bitonio, he was in 2019. He was a second team All Pro. He was the 4th highest rated pass protection PFF graded guard, 12th overall in PFF. That's playing next to some horrific left tackle play. He's a left guard. The Browns had a shit ton of problems. I think Kitchen was a horrible coach. That was a disastrous decision on Dorsey's part.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Which is brutal because you know what sucks for Dorsey is I think that cost him his job because he built that team. But the fact that he went in that year thinking Kitchens could coach was a mistake. And I think that's what cost him that job. But Bitonio played well last year considering that there was nothing next to him. And I think there was very poor pass, not pass call, but play calling in general.
Yeah.
I watched the Browns. There was just nothing was smooth. Nothing was cohesive. It was Baker looking up and down the field for nothing that wasn't there, and then the offensive line just letting everyone run past them.
Pretty much.
Bitonio, before Baker and all of them got there, I thought he was a pretty solid player since he's joined the team. I know the Browns were never a good team while he was there, but I think he's been a solid guard. I like him. I've liked him since he's been on that team. But this year, you know what? Playing next to Willis, and they got Jack Conklin at right tackle and Treader still there at center. That offensive line could make a drastic 180.
Yeah, I was about to say I think drafting Wills and signing Conklin is
huge because they're
huge. Yeah,
their tackle. Well, their left tackle sucked. What's his face? Greg Robinson, awful.
Yeah,
Brandon Smith, who was the right tackle, I have no issues with. I thought he was actually pretty good. I think it sucks that he's being a backup now, but great depth.
Yeah.
I think overall the improvement on that offensive line from getting those 2 tackles and getting a new coach and the Vikings play in a nice zone-heavy scheme, I think Stefanski's going to lean on that line, and I think they made the improvements. I think the Browns could actually be pretty decent. They improved the 2 biggest glaring holes they had from last year, which was coaching and offensive line.
Yeah, this is Baker for Baker. Yeah, so he's got no excuses now. Like, his line's solid. It's improved. He's got good receivers, good tight ends. So, amazing running back. What more can you want?
So, yeah.
But yeah, that's like I said. I think that 8-9 we have going on there, and then who'd you have at 10 again?
I went with Ali Marpet.
Yeah, so we had wild card at 10, and then
I wouldn't. Like I told you, I wouldn't kill you on Roger Saffold. I did think about him there, but I just think that Marpet has a better future ahead of him, mostly because he's younger, and he's got Tom Brady helps his offensive line. He just gets the ball out of his hands because he doesn't want to get sacked, so you're not going to let up a sack because Brady's not going to get sacked. I don't know how that's going to work with Arians, but Brady will try to avoid getting sacked at all possibilities.
Fair enough. All right. Well, number 7, I have a man, a beast.
A man? Okay, interesting. No women?
No women on this list. 3-time Pro Bowler. Surprisingly, doesn't have any All-Pros. Last season, he played 900 snaps and had 0 sacks allowed.
Interesting.
And, evidence would show that in the past 10 years, he's arguably one of the best, if not the best, pass blocking center. And Mr. Rodney Hudson coming in at number 7.
Interesting. He's on my list. I think you disrespected him a little bit, but I'll let you go.
I had a hard time putting him in. I had him at a little higher, and then I had him at 10. So I kept moving him around. But I think him and Kelsey are often looked at as some of the best centers in the league. It's usually a lot of people just say coin flip, but I think Kelsey's got a bit of an edge to him. But Hudson's still a beast. 71 PFF rating. He's 31 years old now. So, still, peak performance. He's still playing extremely well. And like I said, his run blocking's not top, best there is, but the dude doesn't give up, sacks. He protects for his quarterback phenomenally. And the Raiders' offensive line is actually going to surprise people this year. I think they're
I think
they're going to be really nice.
I don't have my pillow in my blanket, so I'm not sleeping on Rodney Hudson nearly as much as you are. He is a top 5 interior offensive lineman. I don't know what you're thinking, putting him at 7, but I'll let it go. I'll get to him later.
Fair enough.
7, continue with the trend. I went with a center as well. I went with a guy coming off, 1 year of success. He's a young guy, rookie. There's a lot of young guys on my list, but he graded out as the 4th best center for PFF last year. Mm-hmm. I went with Eric McCoy, the Saints center.
I looked at him pretty heavily, and then arguably chose the Titans guy over him at number 10. But
see, you know what? He was 4th highest for centers PFF, and he was the 3rd best run blocking center for PFF on a team like the Saints. The run blocking interests me because Drew Brees just flicks his wrist and throws the ball, and Michael Thomas is catching it. He caught 149 balls basically running an inside slant from 5 yards away. So they're not very you don't think of the Saints as a run-heavy team, but that's his strength. He's a great pass blocker. Brees and Bridgewater stood up plenty of times all year last year to come in, fill in for Max Unger his first year and played incredibly well. I think the Saints line is very good. They're a top 5 unit. We obviously talked about Armstead and Ramczyk when we did tackles. Mm-hmm. I think Andrews Pete's is a pretty solid player too. He's had a couple bad years recently, but I wouldn't pass him. Warford, they released him, but I thought he was pretty good as well. Between those 2 tackles and McCoy, that's something to build around. He's a rookie. You look that good your rookie year, you're making the top 10 in some way. Your future's going to look fine. Drew Brees gets rid of the ball quick. That's a solid offense, well-coached team. I have no worries that they're going to, descend in, quality of play at all. Yeah. So I rolled the dice. I think he's going to be solid. He's my number 3 center right now. But considering coming off 1 year, I'm happy where he's at. He's a good player, though. Young, they're set there. And they drafted Cesar Ruiz next to him.
Yeah, he's nice.
That offensive line might be pretty good. It's say Ruiz can play because Ruiz is going to be, I guess, would be the right guard. He's going to be in between Ramczyk and McCoy. Mm-hmm. If Ruiz comes out and have a rookie year like McCoy did, that unit that's probably going to be the best offensive line in football. Should be up there. Oh yeah,
I like him he was a good pick. I think.
Oh, he's a great pick. Yeah, McCoy's good. You can't ask much more. Center's a hard position to play as a rookie. There's a lot more thinking that goes into it. You're basically the quarterback of the offensive line. You're making the calls. You're calling out the defenses. Blah blah blah. You got to snap the ball and make your blocks right away. The fact that he did that for a contending team and a team that had a great year like the Saints did, you can't ignore it.
No, I agree. I think those are all good points.
I
don't know. I just didn't see. I didn't see enough yet. I don't think, but I think he's going to be in this list next year.
That's because you weren't looking hard enough, but it was there. Okay. So, what do you? Now we're breaking into. Oh, we're still 6. All right. So, what do you got at 6?
Number 6. So here's a guy, and we talked briefly about how Brandon Brooks, a little bit of injury concerns going on. So this is another guy I have who in the past 3 seasons, out of 48 games available, he's only played in 33, which, it's a lot, but it's not, you want your center to play, or you want your lineman to play, as many games as possible.
I hear you there.
I had Brandon Sharif at number 6 of the Washington team, the Washington football team.
You know what? I don't mean to steal your thunder, but I also have Brandon Sharif at number 6.
Oh, so beautiful.
I'll let you go ahead. Beautiful. I won't steal your thunder. Go ahead, but I just want to let you know we did think together on that one.
Yeah, 3-time Pro Bowler. He was drafted in 2015, 5th overall out of Iowa. So
top 5 pick as a guard, you better be good.
Yeah, and I think he for the most part he has. I think the health thing, I think if he would have not gone on IR the past 2 seasons in November and December, that he'd be a little higher on this list. I think his potential is crazy good, and he still has the talent to get it done.
No, I would agree with you. The only thing I didn't like about he's a top 5 interior offensive lineman without a doubt.
Yes.
He's a 3-time Pro Bowler. He was number 3 in pass protection as a guard for PFF last year. he's just not healthy. I mean, the
Mhm.
last 2 years, I could be wrong. I think he played 11 and 8 games. I think it was.
Yeah, it was 11, 8, and 14, I think.
Yeah, I have it right here. So 11, 8, 14. Yeah, I mean, actually, he was a Pro Bowler this year, even playing only 11 games. But
Yeah, I don't know how the hell that happens.
that's one thing. I mean, I think the Washington team, the nameless team is a joke, and they have a lot of problems, and they're not going to be very good.
Yeah.
But when healthy, he is a top 5 offensive line without a doubt. But I couldn't put him in the elite. I couldn't put him in the top 5 with the elite interior offensive line because he's not healthy. I don't
Yeah,
feel good about going forward with him.
and it's a shame because like for interior lineman, he's like pretty good at both run blocking and pass blocking. Like if only if Darius Geis wasn't a criminal,
Well,
he might have had a really good career with him, and if they could put some more pieces around that line, because that Sharif, like you said, is one of the top 5 interior linemen. So
what's his face?
AP,
Adrian Peterson won't go away though. Yeah,
it's crazy to me how he was like looked at as could go down as one of the greatest running. Well, I would say he still is one of the greatest.
Yeah, absolutely, still.
But I mean, like he almost went down as like the best running back ever to play the game, and like he's like an afterthought now. I feel like just because of how old he is. But he's still you watch, especially like now he's on the Washington football team, and we have to watch him play the Eagles. Like he still bullies people. He's still got the speed and the little quick jukeness. Like he's not going anywhere. He'll be. I don't know where he'll finish all time. Like probably top 10, I would say.
He had an interview this week. I think said he's going to go after Emmitt Smith's record. I don't know if he's going to get there, but he's still productive. I think he run for 1,000 yards. I mean, the line. When Sharif's healthy, and I mean Sharif's never healthy, and Trent Williams decided to not play last year because he hates the team. I mean, I don't. That team's a dumpster fire. But I mean, going off what you said, obviously he's a top 5 pick. I'll keep it short, but 3-time Pro Bowler. The guy's a stud. Yeah, he's tackling college and moving the guard. He's just not healthy, and he's never really shown me that he can be healthy. The first 2 years, he played 16 games each, and that second year in 16, he got his first Pro Bowl. So that was kind of like when he was put on the map, and then he had the Pro Bowl the year after that when he played 14 games. Then after that, it was 8-11, and this team's going nowhere. Like a guard, you rarely see guards or interior offensive linemen get respect on bad teams.
Yeah.
Because, most time you don't know much of an interior offensive lineman unless they're on a good team.
This is true. But I think this is a good point to show a little footage, some highlights for you of Mr. Sharif.
Go ahead. You know what? My shoulders got tired from carrying this team. All the other videos where I came with highlights and stats. I'm surprised to see you with something. Mike Kutztown. What are you still logging into Kutztown as a student?
They have they do like free alumni courses, so I get like a free class. So I was trying to see what it was.
Oh, that's good. So you get more than one free class a day or a week. So you get my free NFL class that I give you on a weekly basis, and you get free classes from Kutztown. Look at you just milking the system for a free education.
I just want to show you the pure power this man has.
Don't talk down the highlight before you show it. Hold on. What the hell is this? We don't get full screen? What are we doing? This is amateur hour.
My first time.
Yeah.
All right. Let's roll back. So there's him, number 75 right there. Just pause it for you. It's not the wrong player like you did with Mathieu. So he's right here. Just watch this. I mean, he's a little off balance, but just takes him out. That's a big boy. Goes in to finish him again. Here he is again. Just wait for it. Pow! Look at that. That's another big boy.
He's a mean offensive lineman.
But hold on. Can we take a minute to appreciate – I thought this was a false start, and I rewatched it. He's just super quick off the jump. Let's watch this. Boom. First step. Ready. Oh, gets back. You're not going to sack my quarterback. Get on the ground.
Oh, damn. Yeah, that was pretty good. He finishes blocks. I'll give you – you know what? He does finish his blocks. He's a mean guy.
He's just manhandling people.
Yeah, I'll give you that. That was well done. I mean, the execution could have been a little better for your first highlight, but I'll let it go.
We can't all be winners.
You're right about that. All right, yeah, no, you brought up some good points. I like the highlights. The highlights are pretty good. They were good visual representations. You did well there.
I wanted to find some of him like pulling or him like getting some nice blocks, and the first time I saw was just him pancaking people. I was like, this is content.
Oh, I mean, he's a big dude. He's 6'5", 315. I don't
Yeah.
want to catch him anywhere.
Yeah, he might
I would
be.
not want, yeah.
Well, let's see. Him, somebody else on my list is also. There's actually a couple of 6'5" people on my list. 6'5",
He
6'4" is
is.
actually like the looks like the height for guards and centers.
All right, so we both had Sharif at 6. So I'm glad that you've started to listen to my my education I've been giving you. So we finally linked up on something. Go ahead and crack our top 5 for me.
All right. So my number 5 is a veteran. Was part of the 2012 NFL draft.
Okay.
It's been a stalwart of a certain team for many years now. As a 5-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro, Mr.
No,
David DeCastro.
Oh, okay. All right. Interesting. You know what? I wanted to put him on my list. No
Really?
Wow. I don't know. Something about, I mean, I don't know if it was the Mason Rudolph thing and the Duck Hodges. I just was overall disappointed with the Steelers' offensive line last year.
Yeah, but he's one of 5 players on the line, and the Steelers still almost made the playoffs. You know,
well, yeah, I know. I mean, like, I thought about Pouncey there, too. I was going to put him there. I just, you know what, last year, something left a bad taste in my mouth. It didn't seem like they were ever comfortable. I know the quarterback play was pretty bad, but you know what, I left him off. I didn't think his future was as bright as a couple other people.
Fair enough. Well, according to you, he's not worthy, even though he's made 5 straight Pro Bowls. It's fair.
Yeah, it's debatable. You know
really high level in both pass and run protecting, but not top 10.
I like to keep people guessing on what I might pick. He's all right.
I'll give a nice little stat for you. So
educate me.
You have a PFF access, so according to their
Sure.
grading system, Mr. DeCastro is one of 4 guards who have top 10 grades in both pass blocking and run blocking since 2016. The other ones, Zach Martin, Brandon Brooks, and Marshall Yonda.
All right, well,
pretty good company.
Pretty good. That's
pretty good company.
It's pretty good, yeah.
But like you said, yeah, Pouncey, I like thought of, but I wasn't really gonna put him in this list just because of I feel like he's not elite like he used to be. Still very good.
Yeah, no, I agree. You know what I think it was? I did lean a little young on this list. Obviously,
you always do. You like
I do. I like the I like the forecast about them. DeCastro's not old. He's like 30, but you know what? So there was a couple linemen who I almost thought like I could put them in my top 10 off their reputation. Pouncey was one of them. DeCastro was the other. Alex Mack was another one. Like, I feel like their reputation puts them in the top 10, their accolades. But honestly, I feel like we might have seen the best from, like, those 3 players in particular that I mentioned. So that was the one thing. I mean, I went young on the list overall.
I think DeCastro and Rodney Hudson for me are in that same boat where, like, we have kind of seen their best, and they're still playing at a high level. But I also factored in, like, kind of opposite of what you were doing is, like, Castro's been with the Steelers his whole career, usually healthy. 5 straight Pro Bowls is nothing to sleep on, whether it's name alone or at all. Like, there's only so many linemen that get in the Pro Bowl.
No, you're right.
I think he's deserving of top 10.
Listen,
5 might be a little high, but
no.
Consistency is good.
I agree with what you're saying. I do. But my things that I went against with DeCastro is he was an All-Pro in 15 and 17, his 2 best years, you could say. He's been a five-time Pro Bowler, I know. He's 5 years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
But 5 years in a row, I know he's a Pro Bowler last year for the 5th year in a row, but how many more after that? Like, I feel better about the younger guys that I went with on my list in the future than I do DeCastro. I thought the team took a step back. I know that's on the quarterback play took a huge drop off, but
you could say it took a hit to the head.
You could say that, yeah. You could say that. Yeah, that would be a good point. But yeah, I left them off. I just thought if I was starting a team now, I like the younger guys better, especially because guys like McCoy and Marpet who are doing it so well right now at a young age, and I both think they're going to get better. Mm-hmm. I think Marpet will do much better with Brady than he would Winston behind him. And I think McCoy's just going to grow into his position and be one of the best centers in the league easily.
I could see that.
Ryan Kelly, the same thing. I liked him going forward. I mean, the fact that he plays next to Quentin Nelson definitely helps. But I think he's been solid, young guy that I would rather build around those guys than I would with DeCastro. Just because, listen, the accolades are nice. And I said he was right there with Pouncey and Mack, but I think they were living off those accolades more than they are about their future.
Fair enough.
But, no, I mean, I listen. His stats were a little better than I expected when I was doing my research, but I kind of stuck to my my younger mojo and kind of, didn't want to change my mind.
Well, you see, as we've gone on, and this is our 10th episode of our Players series, and I've adapted. I've learned to look deeper into the younger players and add them in. You, however, still neglect
educating you on NFL knowledge,
Oh my
and you
God.
started to take notes now.
No.
You start paying attention.
No. Because of your fake
Education.
news education,
Don't
I've had to adapt and look into the younger stats and really
Yeah,
dive
because you don't
deep.
want to look like an idiot every episode. Maybe once in a while, but not every episode.
Well, an idiot would leave a 5 straight Pro Bowler off there.
Okay, I've had enough from you.
What's your number 5? Let's
Leave
go.
me. You are the worst. All right, so number 5, we actually, since we're talking about the big boys, I've been really into the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs, as I mentioned to you. So this guy weighing in at roughly 9 Stanley Cups, which is pretty impressive. The Stanley Cup's a little heavier than I thought. I went with
Best trophy in sports, by the way.
without a doubt, 35 pounds of title championship glory. So
Beautiful.
this guy weighing in roughly around 9 Stanley Cups. I went with Joe Thuney.
Number 5?
Yes, I did.
I had, not to skip ahead, but I had him at number 4.
Okay,
So
just skip me completely, but okay, good. Thanks.
No, we can talk about it. So go ahead. What you feeling on Mr.
So-
Rumor to almost get traded to the Eagles when Brooks got hurt, but
Yeah, I never saw that coming.
yeah, that wasn't gonna happen.
So I'll get to some of the good stuff. PFF, number 5 is a guard. Can't take that away from him. He's allowed 1 sack, the last 2 years combined. Impressive. I do think, and that's kind of why, mostly why I think Marpet made my top 10 was because I have a great outlook on him and Brady combination. Brady gets rid of the ball quickly. Thuney never gave up a sack because his quarterback wasn't going to allow it. I like Thuney. I think he's very good. He's solid. What's his face? Dante Skarnecki, the offensive line coach for the Patriots. He's a legend. Like, the guy knows what he's doing. He's just a genius when it comes to like blocking and offensive line schemes. When you think about when they won that Super Bowl against the Rams, they really weren't passing that much. Like, they were devoid of the passing options. This was with Gronk then. We obviously saw him this past year where they just couldn't score or move the ball or do anything on offense because they didn't have any talent. But the year they won the Super Bowl, they had Gronk, which was their only option. But they were running the ball. Sonny Michel was a 1,000-yard runner. They were running the ball heavy. They were using that offensive line. I give Joe Thuney a little more extra boost because David Andrews went down with his disease of some sort. So he didn't skip a beat. He played just as well next to his, top-notch center as he did next to whoever was backing up Andrews, which you caught me off guard. I don't know off the top of my head. But I thought he was really good. Bill Belichick's the best GM in NFL history, but
Isaiah Wynn, is that who you're talking about? Their draft pick?
No, the David Andrews. Well, yeah, he played next to Wynn.
Well, David Andrews is center, and then their 2018 first-round pick, Isaiah Wynn, only played 8 games.
Yeah, so that's inconsistent. We talked about how Bitonio played next to an awful left tackle most of his season last year. Joe Thuney didn't have much in between on right or left side.
He basically played with an all backup line.
Absolutely,
and still performed at a high level. Yeah,
he was a second-team All-Pro, and you can't ignore that, especially considering, Brady gets rid of the ball, and I get that, but there were no options. There were no weapons on that team. They could not move the ball. He still played really well. Belichick is the greatest GM, arguably in NFL history, because he's been GM and head coach his entire career.
Yeah.
I don't know about paying a guard $15 million a year when they gave him the franchise tag, but hey, Belichick knows a lot more than I do. But I wouldn't do it. But, Thuney he's one of the rare guards that you could actually say is worth that money. I just don't know if I would want to pay $15 million to a guard for 1 year. But
Yeah.
go ahead. So go.
One of the few. I mean, you hit everything I had written down was basically what you talked about. But like one of the few players not taken in the first round of the draft. He was a third round pick, 78th overall. So, Belichick hitting on them later picks or middle round picks, but
the free agents from Walmart and later picks.
Yeah, I mean, there was a stat here, him, Zach Martin, and then Antonio. They were like far and beyond the best pass protectors over the past 3 years or 2 years, whatever it was. And
oh yeah, without a doubt.
I watched actually some of his highlights when I was trying to figure out where to place him from the Super Bowl against the Rams, and he was making Aaron Donald his bitch.
The Patriots struggled this year on offense, but outside of Gronk, it was the same offense they had when they won the Super Bowl the year before. But defensively, Belichick came up with the 5-2 that stopped the new age offense that McVay and a bunch of other coordinators are running. Yeah. And he basically told the league how you stop the offense, and he figured it out. But at the same time, man, the reason they were scoring points was they were running the ball. Gronk, you forget, wasn't really dominating passing. He's an extra offensive lineman. They were just ran the ball with 6 offensive linemen. Tooney, Shaq Mason was in debate for my top 10. He did not make it.
I thought about him.
I thought about him.
It wasn't serious.
Yeah, but even the year they won the Super Bowl, they had Trent Brown at left tackle, Tooney right next to him, Mason at the right guard, and Andrews at the center, and then you had Gronk, who's the 6th offensive lineman.
Pretty good
They
line.
just ran the ball to a Super Bowl win. They played great defense and ran the ball to a Super Bowl win. And, you can't ignore that. Plus, the fact that he had a great year this year playing next to inconsistency on his left and right, yep. I couldn't ignore it. So, but you said your number 4 because you wanted to piggyback off my success, but I understand. My number 4, I went with a much smarter decision than you did. I put Rodney Hudson here.
That's what I felt like that's where he was going to fall after you started putting your chips on the board.
Yeah, he's my second best center on my list.
I'm fine with that. Like I said, I kind of had him all over the place, so
that's fine. Listen, you disrespected Hudson. You could argue I disrespected DeCastro, but I still stick to my list.
So we're fair.
For the future.
We're fair.
Listen, for the people back home that aren't paying attention, 3 of the things that matter: last year, next year, and if I started my team. 2 of them have to go with the future, and I like the future on my list better than I do DeCastro's. But let me get back to Hudson.
At least I had Hudson on my list.
Relax. The first ridiculous stat.
Okay.
11 quarterback pressures in the last 3 years. Do you know 11 quarterback pressures in last year would have ranked him 28th overall as a guard? Saying there's 64 starting guards in the league, he's still in the upper half of guards for 1 year in total pressures that he had in 3 years. Outstanding.
Yeah.
He was the number 1 PFF pass blocker as a center. Josh Jacobs ran for around 1,100 yards. That was behind a great offensive line. I mentioned Trent Brown on the Patriots. He's there at left tackle, and Hudson's there at center. The Raiders have a solid line. Incognito played very well coming back. Mm-hmm. But I think it starts and finishes with Hudson. He's always been a very good center. Slept on. The Raiders, for the most part, have been horrific up until last year where they were decent.
Yeah, like I said, I think their line's shaping up to be really solid. Like top 5, honestly, this year it looks like.
Yeah, Hudson's a good player. He slept on a little bit, but I like him where he is. You mentioned the debate between him and Kelsey.
Mm-hmm.
I still, not to ruin anything, Hudson's my number 2 center, and who number 1 is.
I figured that. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Is that your piece on Hudson? That's.
Yeah, I said some stuff when you were spewing nonsense when you said he was number 8 or whatever.
7.
Okay, yeah. So, when I corrected you for being a fool for that, I think I covered a little bit more. But, I know he didn't grade well in the run blocking, but your rookie running back ran for 1,100 yards. You got to give some credit to the offensive line as a whole for that. Mm-hmm. Even if he didn't look great himself doing it, 1,100 yards is 1,100 yards.
Yeah, and not to take anything away from the run blocking techniques and skills involved with that, but you got to figure pass blocking. If you're thriving at pass blocking, it's because you have incredible footwork. Your technique's incredible, and you know exactly where you need to put your arms, exactly where to step.
The passing league.
Yeah. So.
All right. So let's crack the top 3. What do you got?
Yeah, number 3 have coming in as my number 1 center. and I'm sure your number one center whenever you talk about
You know
him.
what? You know what? I will, before you get into it, and I'll let you get into it.
Okay.
I have the same thing as you do.
All right. So at number 3, we have Jason Kelce of the Philadelphia Eagles. I think it's a good spot for him. I think you make the argument between him and Hudson, but I think at the end of the day, Kelce is got the edge a little bit.
I would agree with you.
You know, someone who kind of grew up into football playing line, just because I was bigger at that age when I started playing.
Oh yeah, forgot about that.
Well, that was my whole growth spurt was like 6th, 7th grade. So like I was already super tall, and I haven't grown since then. But
yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. What happened since then?
I was like 5'9" in like 7th grade, and then like since then it's been nothing. But that's why I played line, learned about proper foot techniques and stuff like that. And like one of the hardest things to do when you play line is to pull, because you got to get off the guy in front of you, whip around the entire line, and make sure you don't disrupt the play. Get to your man in time. Jason Kelce is arguably one of the best, pulling like linemen I've ever watched. Like his agility is insane. The speed he displays and the power to able to. And I didn't know he was 6'3". I thought he was like a smaller guy, but no, he's still got some height on him. He's almost 300 pounds.
Yeah, he was the lightest guy on my list at 295.
But yeah, arguably the best run blocking lineman on the list, if not, I would say one of the best blocking linemen.
I agree with what you said. The pulling part is his best part of his game. I actually, you know what, Kelce, I compare to another Philadelphia athlete, and it's JT Realmuto, because the center position and the catcher position in baseball are a very unathletic, plodding position. Like, you think of centers and catchers, you think of unathletic, big guys plodding around, tough as nails. Jason Kelce is the most athletic center I've seen.
Oh, yeah. Most athletic lineman I've ever seen.
JT Realmuto is the most athletic catcher I've ever seen, and it's not really even close. I think they're both at the top of their position. I think Realmuto is the best center or best catcher, and I think Kelce is the best center. Mostly because their athletic ability allows them to make plays that the stereotypical position player for their positions can't make. Jason Kelce can pull and be the lead blocker on a screen pass, and I've seen him do it all the time, and it's outstanding. Realmuto is the only catcher I can ever remember watching in baseball that can steal bases. It's just that having that extra athletic ability, and he's a little lighter. He's 295, which isn't light, but 6'3", 295 isn't exactly the weight you would expect from a center. But the guy, you know what? When we need 1 yard, he's the one that just head down and he just fucking blocks. He's a steamroller.
And I mean, since he's been starting for the Birds center, he's played in 95% of his games. Like, and that 1 year, I don't know if it was the Super Bowl year or the year after that, where he had like 3 different injuries. I was going through all that shit and still played, and then like contemplated retirement, and then he's still playing, obviously. But
he does, yeah. He obviously plays, and that's impressive. I think that the fact that he didn't make the All-Decade team was a joke. I know that Mac and Pouncey, who did make the All-Decade team, have more.
Mac's good. I thought about putting him on the list too.
But Mac's in that list with DeCastro is guys that rack up accolades that I don't think are going to get better. I still think if I had to put money on it between Mac, DeCastro, Pouncey, Kelce, who's going to make the All-Pro next year? Oh, it's Kelce without even thinking.
Yeah,
But my thing with him on the All-Decade team is him at his best. His peak was so much better than Mac or Pouncey. He's more consistent. I mean, Mac and Pouncey, Mac didn't miss a ton of games. Pouncey did. But the guy doesn't miss snaps. He won a Super Bowl. He's a 3-time All-Pro. His high of highs is better than any center that I've seen in the last decade. I think it was a joke that he didn't make the All-Decade team. I know that Mac and Pouncey have more Pro Bowls and All-Pros. That's fine. But when you talk about the best center play between those three, like you give me their best play from their peak, it's Kelce without even thinking.
I mean, 3-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro, 1-time Super Bowl champ. I think he'll actually go –
and he's got the Super Bowl ring. He doesn't have I think Mac has 6 Pro Bowls and Pouncey has 8. He doesn't have all those numbers. But you know what? Like, he's higher than that. His best years are better than anything you can give me from Mac or Pouncey.
I still think by the time he retires, he'll go down as one of the best players to ever wear an Eagles jersey, like up there.
I don't argue it.
But good time right now to show you some athletic play.
Oh, go ahead, please. Show me another one of the highlights. Can we get full screen on this
Oh,
one to start?
I got you, baby.
Okay, all right. Oh,
Sorry.
Big Dick's out there.
Love it. We got Big Dick, Corey Clement. So
I was at this game. Oh, this game doesn't go well. I was at this game. This is the Buccaneers game. I was there in Tampa.
Oh, this is the one that they lost to.
Yeah, it was in September. Yeah, it was hot as shit, and I saw Deshaun Jackson catch a bomb after bomb.
Oh yeah, when he was on the other team. So I believe this is a poll. So we'll see his quick speed here. So there he is. Oh wait, maybe let's see. All right, so he's blocking right there. Gets off the guy. Look at this. Look at that speed. Nope, you're not going to make a play. Corey Clement makes it. And then this one, oh, I love this one too.
There's no way 54 is making this play. From seeing where we're at now, there's no way. There's no way.
Look at that. Quick first step. He's already at the same level as Nick Foles is, and Foles had a step ahead of him. Gets it. Look at the speed. You're not going to make a play. I'm going to hold you all the way. He got another guy on the way. Look at that. And he scored Sproles for the touchdown. It's beautiful.
I was going to say, watching that, just the way that whole setup was, there was no way they was going to make. Oh, there he is. Listen, he is the most athletic center I can think of that I've seen.
How many offensive linemen do you see down the field with your running back?
No. Lead blocker. When they run those screen passes, he's the lead blocker. He is the JT Realmuto of football. I mean, he's got a much better career than Realmuto, but the same reason that I think Realmuto is the top catcher in the league, because he plays with an athleticism I've never seen for that position, is the reason that Kelsey is the best in the center in the football. Is he plays with an athleticism that I haven't seen from other centers.
The BCIF, best center in football.
When you think of NFL centers, they are just big ogres that have to take on massive nose tackles and move them. And Kelsey changed it. He can do that, but he changed the position because you've never seen a center be the lead blocker on screen passes or pulling like we're seeing there. The guy's amazing. He's so good. He's an absolute leader. Obviously, I have him at number 3 as well. You hit pretty much all the points I could say, so I'll leave it as is. I don't have much more to get to, but that's how I think about him. So we'll go to number 2. Who you got?
Yeah, so number 2, I have Zach Martin of the Dallas Cowboys.
I have a feeling that our top 3 is going to be exactly the same, and I also have Zach Martin.
Well, I hope you have the same number 1 as me, because if not, we're going to have to get you into a hospital and get you checked.
Come on now. I'm the one giving the free education to you. You think I'm going to mess up? So, yeah, I mean, well, before I let you have the torch back.
Yeah, please steal it. Go ahead.
The big guy, obviously because we've been talking about NBA basketball, weighing in at 20 Larry O'Brien trophies. As Zach Martin. You got to love it. When it's the big boys we're talking about, I don't have many stats. I can only go off the weight. So weighing in at 20 NBA championship trophies is Zach Martin. But go ahead. Continue your nonsense.
No, please go into it. I had no nonsense.
Honestly, Zach Martin is I know Jonathan Cooper and Chance Warmack were drafted pretty high as offense guards. They were both I want to say both top 10 picks. Mm-hmm. But Zach Martin was neither of them really worked out well. Zach Martin was the quintessential, drafting an interior offensive line in the first round might be the smartest thing you can do. He's a 4-time All-Pro and 6-time Pro Bowler. The guy's been in the league 6 years. He's been in the Pro Bowl every single year. Rookie year, he was an All-Pro. He's been an All-Pro back-to-back years, the last 2 years. He's missed 2 games in his 6-year career. He's the epitome of consistent. His partner in crime, Travis Frederick, we touched on this a little bit when we were talking about Tooney and Andrews getting hurt and retiring. But Frederick retired. Right tackle, I think, would be the weak spot on the Cowboys line from when they've been amazing. Now that they've got Lyle Collins, a little different. But it really does. My point is being that it really doesn't matter who's next to him. The guy's an absolute stud. The Cowboys have been regarded as one of the best offensive lines since Zach Martin has entered this league.
Oh, yeah.
Zeke has been a 2-time rushing champion with Zach Martin as the leading guard. Mm-hmm. He was number 3 offensive guard for PFF, number 1 in pass protection, which is just incredible.
Yep.
Considering and he was number 3 in run protection. So he's a top 3 guy in pass and run. He's amazing. All you need to know is He's never not had a Pro Bowl season in his career.
Which is, yeah, I was just looking at that. He's made 6 straight Pro Bowls and two straight All Pros. Like, that's
– You know what? But here's – I will say one thing about that. After that, you saw other guys get drafted in the first round in the interior. You know, Ryan Kelly, which I touched on, was a first-round pick. Our number one, who I assume we both have the same guy, was a high first-round pick. Scherf was a top 5 pick. It's because of the success of Zach Martin. And he was, 17th overall, I want to say?
16th.
16th, close
Very
enough.
close. Good job.
I try my best. He was the mold. I know it's an offensive guard and you want an impact player right away, but when you have a 6-time Pro Bowler and you're drafting the first round on your offensive line, like that, use your first round pick on an offensive lineman. Remember when the Cowboys were debating between him and Johnny Manziel? Mm-hmm. Could you imagine the difference the team would be in if they didn't draft Zach Martin over Johnny Manziel? I feel like he's now our number one guy is he's regarded as maybe a top 5, 10 NFL player in general. But the superstar guard didn't start until I think Zach Martin came into the league. Marshall Yanda was really good. Jairi Evans, Carl Nix, a couple other guys, they were really good offensive linemen. But when it comes to superstar, I can change your offense, interior lineman, I don't think we saw it until Zach Martin came in. And then, we'll get to number 1, but then the team that drafted number 1, top 10 in the first round, saw that formula worked pretty well as well.
Yeah, I mean, I just looked over my list, and I have 5 players taken in the first round. So, I mean,
I was actually – because I was thinking about this when I did it. I had Kelly, I had Shreve, I had Martin. So, yeah, I have 4. Oh, because you had DeCastro.
I will say, though, after we only have running backs left to do for this player series thing, but I've noticed, I'm kind of surprised at how many of our top 10 players are first-round picks. I felt like we would have more, diamonds in the rough, kind of later-round pick players, but most of them are first- and second-round picks, which goes to show, the importance of hitting your players right.
Well, of course, because they're supposed to be good. Your first-round pick is supposed to be good.
Yeah.
Because, the way I look at it is this. Your first-round pick is supposed to be good. Mm-hmm. Because if you traded your first-round pick, I guarantee you can get a Pro Bowl player. I don't know. It doesn't matter who. But your first-round pick is worth a Pro Bowl player.
I agree.
Amari Cooper, Minkah Fitzpatrick, both traded for a first-round pick. These are guys that you can get with a first-round pick. If you need to hit on your first-round picks because, you can trade them for something that's more valuable. They're worth Pro Bowl players. That's what they should be. But – there was the year when Warmack and Cooper went top 10, both of them as guards, and they both didn't pan out. I don't think it was until Zach Martin came along that NFL teams respected and realized that, you know what, maybe this is a position that we should emphasize. And since then, you've seen more interior offensive linemen. We mentioned Ruiz, who just got drafted in the first round by the Saints this year. Mm-hmm. You see more offensive linemen getting drafted higher in the first round. And I think it has a lot to do with Martin because the guy came in and he's been a Pro Bowl player ever since. It doesn't matter what position. If you can tell me that you're a 6-time Pro Bowler, you're 6 for 6, you're 6 years in the year, every year you've been a Pro Bowler, I'll put a first-round pick on that. I don't give a shit. You could be a kicker. I don't care. You're getting an elite player at a position. It doesn't matter the value, and offensive line is very important.
I agree. I think the one thing that's really striking about Zach Martin is a lot of these players, especially along the line, tackles, interior linemen, there's usually one aspect that they're phenomenal at if they're at this level that we're talking about. And then there's they're really great at pass blocking. And then their run blocking is good, but it's not as good as their pass blocking. He's elite at run blocking and pass blocking.
He's, what did I say? Top 3 and
one stat is kind of mind blowing is that he has a 95.6% pass block win rate. That's 95% of the time he is going to win that battle between him and the D lineman.
Yeah,
and guarding and protecting his quarterback. You can't ask for anything more than that.
Arguably, I was rooting so hard for the Cowboys to draft Manziel. I would love that train wreck to show up to Dallas.
Oh man!
And then they took Martin, and that was one of my up until when the Cowboys drafted CeeDee Lamb this year. That was the the Cowboys pick that stung me the most because I knew Martin would be good, and
Yeah.
I knew that if they drafted Manziel, that would have ruined their team.
Manziel.
Yeah, but honestly, he's set the tone. Like you know what? You realize maybe I can draft that center or guard in the first round because they might end up to be Zach Martin. Zach Martin, I would say, changed the landscape of how valuable interior offensive linemen are.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty important, point to look at our number one lineman who was
Well,
taken.
hold on. Before we get it, I'm going to steal your thunder again.
Oh my God.
So this one, since I'm talking about big boys, the next guy, number one, I have weighing in at 1.7 Dakotas. That is one Dakota plus a seventh of Dakota. So that's like
Wow.
missing your shoulders. Well, your hair's worth a lot of your weight. So I would say
Yeah.
from I cut off your head and your shoulders, then that's probably what we got. So 1.7 Dakotas. Number one, I got Quentin Nelson.
As do I. I was gonna say something, and then you stole my thunder, so I don't remember what it was now. But
baby. Oh, come on. We all know. Everyone watches this video knows that you didn't have anything really that good to say.
Did you know he was a native of New Jersey?
I actually did. Come on now.
Oh, okay.
You don't think I looked up his Wikipedia page?
Yeah, I mean, New Jersey native. You know what? The craziest thing I look at is you look at him and he just finished his second year. So he's going into his third year. 2-time Pro Bowler. That's cool. Yeah, that's cool, right? 2-time All-Pro in his rookie year and his second year. Like, you know how hard it is for an offensive lineman to establish himself that early when there's, people we talk about who have, like, inflated Pro Bowl stats. Like you said, the Castro who, like, sometimes gets an on name and all these players. Like, as a rookie was an All-Pro. Second year was an All-Pro.
Because he makes this – because you know what? He plays mean.
Imagine being the Colts and you get this lineman that just comes at, like, puts the whole offensive line world on fire. And on the other side of the ball, you have Darius Leonard, who puts the whole defensive, world on fire with his play. Like, that's two really good picks that plan out really well for them. Like,
listen, I agree with you. He graded as the number 3 overall guard, 2018 his rookie year. Mm-hmm. And then, he was 81.6 grade on PFF, 2018, third overall. This past year, he was 91.2.
10-point jump.
Yeah, that's good, getting great. In his second year, he was number 2 overall as guards. Obviously, our homeboy, RIP to Brooks, was number 1.
Yeah.
But even, the dude was graded out as a 91.2.
So he went from an 81 to a 91. Is he going to be a 101 next year?
You would assume. I mean, the guy is nasty. You know what the other thing is? And we talked about a little bit with who was the one you did Sheriff. Nelson's mean. He's a mean person.
He pancakes people too.
Oh, he like the blocking is not over until you're on the ground. It doesn't matter if the play's over. He's not done blocking until you're on the ground. He is a mean person. He was obviously a 6th overall pick, which is astronomical for a guard. But like I said, I won't get into the argument again, but I think Martin started that trend where you realize who wouldn't want a Pro Bowl or offense guard, every year he plays. When you draft that 6th overall, considering that the Colts were in a great shape that year because they were able to trade back with the Jets so they can go get a quarterback. And they arguably got, we'll see how the draft plays out, but arguably you look at it now, he's the best player in that draft. And there's some other good players there.
2018, yeah. I mean, 6
overall,
pretty high for him.
There. You said Leonard already.
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley was in that draft. A ton of quarterbacks. He right now, I would say, is the best player from that draft, and they moved back to get him, which is even better for them overall. Because then you had an extra pick. I don't know off the top of my head if the pick that traded the Jets traded them was Darius Leonard, but I know that they drafted Darius Leonard early in the second round.
I don't remember, but yeah, I mean, like players like we talk about how you're more of the younger players, I'm more of the established veterans. But when you see players like this come onto the field, just come out of nowhere. Like, I mean, I don't want to say come out of nowhere. He was number 6 overall pick, but just dominate beyond expectations. It's like.
So here's a couple of things. So he obviously didn't allow a single sack, which is incredible.
1,442 snaps 0 sacks.
He was one of 25 offensive linemen called for 3 or fewer penalties. Considering that this guy is a mean motherfucker, that's impressive because I wouldn't be surprised if a ref wouldn't throw a flag on like one of those pancake blocks after the whistle just for unnecessary. Because that's what he does. Like, it doesn't matter if the whistle's going off; he's still putting you in the ground. Like, it doesn't. The whistle doesn't matter to him because you're going into the ground regardless.
Yep.
He is. He's a stud. He's the pinnacle of this in offensive line movement. I think it started with Martin, and now there's more emphasis on the offensive line. I think there was. I want to say there was 3 drafted in the top 11 this year in the draft with Thomas Willis.
It was a lot of linemen went earlier than most people thought they would have.
Well, listen,
like the Giants took a tackle, right?
Yeah, they took Thomas at 4, but the tackles have always been drafted well. The interior offensive linemen have always been slept on. You always thought about why would you use a first-round pick on a center or guard? Zach Martin comes in and goes to a Pro Bowl every single year, and then Quentin Nelson comes in and he's a top 10 NFL player in the end, in the whole league. And you realize, shit, maybe that's a good idea to invest there pretty early in my offensive line, even if it's in the interior. Obviously, as I said, this was all about the big boys, so I don't have many stats, but I got weight. So, my top 10, the only one that actually matters.
Okay.
Do you think it was higher or lower? 2,800 pounds cumulative.
2,800. So we got. Well, considering there's 10 players and probably most of them weigh close to, if not over 300 pounds, I would say higher.
Okay, well, good, because you know what? That was an easy question. I just wanted to make sure if you were worthy to get to the next question. So, yeah, my total weight of my top 10 just broke 3,000. It was 3,098 pounds.
Okay.
So here's my other question.
It's a lot of weight.
A lot of weight. It's the big boys.
A lot of tons. 3 tons.
So there's one player on my top 10 list.
Okay.
All right, so he's actually on both of our top 10 lists. I'll be nice.
Oh.
One player has the same birthday as a Super Bowl winning coach. He's the only player on the top 10 on my list and your list to have the same birthday as a Super Bowl winning coach. I don't want to ruin it for him. I'll listen to your guess, but I'll leave it up for our fans to decide. Anyone that comments the correct answer, Dakota will give you a very nice prize. And I guarantee you it'll be expensive. He doesn't know this. But
I don't.
I promise you it'll be something nice. If anyone can guess the correct answer, bonus points. Dakota said he'll give you a bonus point if you can name the Super Bowl winning coach and the player that shared the same birthday. But someone on my and your top 10 list has the same birthday as a Super Bowl winning coach, and he's the only player to do it on our list.
How do you find a stat like that?
Because I do my things. I do my research. While you're over there doing your free courses on Kutztown, I do the real heavy lifting.
Well, are you going to tell me the answer, or is this like have come back next episode of Post-Fades and Cheesesteaks?
Well, I mean, I think it'd be cruel if I gave away the answer, considering you're the one giving the prize away to anyone that guesses correctly.
I did not sign up to give nobody a Ferrari, so.
Well, we'll say a Nissan. Dakota will give a Nissan to whoever gets this question correct. You said no Ferrari. I bumped it down for you.
This is not true.
Dakota will give a prize of some sort to whoever can guess this correct.
I'll give someone a high five for watching
a prize
this
that
podcast
matters.
and
Listen,
tolerating Tim's nonsense.
We're in the middle of a pandemic. You think anyone wants a high five from you? Look at you.
I'll wear a glove.
Read coronavirus.
Oh, okay. Why am I giving away the money?
Because I think it makes more sense for you to do it than me.
I don't see that, but.
Well, because I made the question. Why would I give away the
prize? Oh, yeah, of course. Without my consent.
What do you need me to do? Make up the question, carry the podcast, educate you for free, and give the prize? Oh, my God.
Yeah.
You're just asking for too much from me.
Rerun through your 10 to 5.
Okay, all right. So.
And then I'll do my 10 to 5, and then we'll do our 5 to 1.
So the correct order was I have 10, one with the young guy, unproven, but, big boy Brady's going to put him on the map when they play, 8 primetime games this year.
Mm-hmm.
Ali Marpet. 9 was a young guy again, Ryan Kelly. 8 was Joel Biatonio on the rebuild Browns offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
7, young guy again off a rookie season, Eric McCoy. And then 6, I went with Brandon Sheriff.
Okay. Yeah, my number 10, Roger Saffold, part of that, reason. Derrick Henry and that Titans offensive line was thriving. Number 9, I had Joel Bitonio. Cleveland boy. He's got some help this year, so hopefully the Browns can see some success. Then number 8, I had Ryan Kelly, the center out of Indianapolis. Number 7 was my Rodney Hudson pick, which Tim gave me a lot of flack for, which I said fair enough.
Because you were foolish for thinking that.
Arguably the second best center in the league. And then number 7. Number 6, I had Brandon Sheriff, who would be even higher in this list if he could stay healthy.
I hear that. So my 5, the correct version. Number 5 went with $15 million man Joe Thuney. 4, I went with the correct ranking of Rodney Hudson. 3 is the GOAT of centers, the JT Realmuto of the NFL football, Jason Kelce. 2, I went Zach Martin, Mr. Consistency, that put the interior offensive line on the first round map. And then 1 is the reason that, after Martin puts the interior offensive lineman on the first round map, the guy that claimed it as his own, and I went with the number 1 interior offensive lineman in the league, Quentin Nelson.
Agreed. Yeah, I put someone that you somehow thought was,
listen,
a piece of crust.
I look for the future. I don't have time for the past.
You're probably one of those people that has a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and then cuts off the crust and throws it away because you don't think it's valuable. David DeCastro is valuable. That's why he was number 5 on my list. Number 4 is Joe Thuney, like we mentioned. And then 3 was Kelce. 2 was the boy Zach Martin. And then 1 was obviously Quentin Nelson. So we agreed on 3, 2, and 1, and 6, I believe. So
and we can agree on that Dakota will be giving away a prize for anyone that can name which of the player that was on both our lists shares the birthday of a Super Bowl winning coach. The only player on either of our lists to actually share the birthday of a Super Bowl winning coach. So
I'll Venmo the first person to answer $5. How about that?
That's fine. That's more generous than I expected from you. So I'll take that. I need to go pee. So this was fun. We have 1 more position left. We're almost there, baby.
Running backs, and we should have a guest for that, so that'll be fun. So.
Yeah, I know. It's all right. They get stuck with us because, even though we don't set the bar high for guests, no one wanted to do interior offensive line. It was a pleasure talking to you. You're a fool regardless. But
signing off.
I'll see you.
All right. Peace out.